Welcome to Mormon Book Reviews, but actually, this is a very special episode that we're doing on both Mormon Book Reviews and our new channel, the Utah Interfaith Forum, here on YouTube. And this is an introduction episode. This is our very first episode in which we have already taped like half dozen or so interviews for the channel, and actually would have probably started releasing stuff sooner if it wasn't for my little situation that's kind of delayed some stuff. But I just want to welcome my newest co-host who gave me a tour last December of the Orem Temple, and that's when we got to know each other via our friend David Boyce of 52 Churches in 52 Weeks. Monica Ringer Bambrough, welcome to the program.
Thank you. It's good to see you, friend.
So I just want the audience to kind of get to know you a little bit. You have a very interesting interfaith background that's been around for a long time, and you actually now even have a calling in that regard too. Maybe just talk a little bit about your background and your journey in the interfaith community.
For sure. So I grew up in Mesa, Arizona, which is a great place to grow up. There are a lot of Latter-day Saints and members of my faith, which is where I have my calling. And so growing up, there was also such a variety of people. And they were my friends, they were my neighbors, they were everything in my life. So I know we do a lot of interfaithing, but to me, that was just lifing, right? That's just part of life. And I had a beautiful setting to grow up in and build these relationships because I was able to attend church services with them or weekly meetings like catechism or just activities for youth with my friends. And I loved it. I just loved being with my friends and understanding other faiths and bring us to today. And I actually do have a calling that works a lot with interfaith connections. And I love it because it's just a continuation of my life. And it's a beautiful thing. And I'm grateful for everyone of every belief because I learn a lot. My life is so much more rich because of those friendships and the things that I can learn. And, it just makes people better, I think, when we have connections with people that are different than us.
It's so funny because I remember when we first started this venture, you said, never in a million years would I would have thought that I would be doing a YouTube videos on
Yeah,
never was your
no. I think I told you, I'm like, if we're going to be best friends on YouTube, you got to know that I bawled my eyes out over
Well, here, real quick, folks, I just wanted to share too. This is the Utah Interfaith channel on YouTube. And this is tied in just so you know that historically what happened was last summer, there was this new group on Facebook called the Utah Interfaith Forum, started by a faithful member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And this person built up the group, and it's really become a very active, wonderful group on Facebook. And so in September of last year, this person went to me and said, "I want you to have this channel. I mean, to have this not YouTube, this Facebook group." And I'm like, "Well, I'm not a YouTuber, so what do I do? I YouTube." So what naturally evolved from the Utah Interfaith Forum Facebook page, birthed the Utah Interfaith Forum YouTube channel. And so we've released a few videos, but this is more the official launch. Monica, it's really interesting because, of course, you've never done this before, and we've interviewed some very interesting guests. Maybe talk about some of the guests. You don't have to list them all, but maybe talk about some of the
this.
guests that we've had on the program. And you've actually been the impetus for getting all these wonderful guests lined up. But maybe we just preview some of the people that we'll be releasing those interviews with about soon.
Well, we do have quite the variety, and hopefully we can continue to do that.
Yes.
Um, I think one of the most important things that we are here to do is to listen to others, not necessarily us be the talkers. People will learn about us just by being with our guests. So sometimes I got lost just listening to them and learning about them. And I'm like, oh, yeah, we need a question. Let's dive into this, right? Because I think that's so important to have people of other faiths talk about their faith instead of me coming on and talking about the minimal amount I know. And you know probably more than I do on a lot of faiths. But I love hearing people's stories from them because then I can't mess it up. I can't mess up their beliefs. And I think that's important for people. to understand beliefs from those who believe it instead of finding information elsewhere from someone that doesn't exactly know what they're talking about. So if we give this platform to everybody, then we'll do amazing things. And so we've been able to talk with, someone that is a interfaith band member and talk about those connections and how that blesses lives. And that was awesome. We've had a Eucharistic minister on, and she talked about her life. And in the interview, we found out that it also intertwines with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And so we find out all these little things in our discussions. And I like to really call them a discussion or a conversation more than an interview, because they're my friends, or by the end of this, they're definitely our friends. We've also had
Well, we've had a rabbi on.
We've had a rabbi on, Tammy Harris, who is the word's not coming to me. Isn't it?
That's okay. That's okay. Are we talking about the rabbi?
No, we had the rabbi. Awesome conversation.
Oh, yep. And then we've had we've had a variety of people. We even had an evangelical who runs a thing in Provo with was a thrift store that she operates.
Oh, yes. So she runs it out of Spanish Fork, Utah. So Tabitha's Way, and she talked about how faith brought her to this point and how serving with others in the community and all these faiths that do come in and support her make it possible, and just that we can all connect. So many good things.
The chaplain program with the church.
Yes, Tammy Harris is the chaplain. Thank you. Like, why is that not coming to me? So I love that, because it just brought us into looking at so many faiths, and she knows so many, not all, right? She can't know all, but her connection just made it awesome.
Yeah, and it's been really great. It's been we taped a bunch of interviews, and we originally were going to start posting them this past spring, and then there's been a little delay. But I'm just really proud of those interviews. Honestly, Monica, I think you did a really great job, never doing this before, and also lining up all these wonderful guests that we've had on the program. And I think it just talks about the importance of, in today's society that is so divided right now. We're in an election year that's happening, and it's just, you can just tell the tensions are are being revved up, and there's so much division. And why it's important that we have a safe space where people of different beliefs can come and have civil conversations with each other. That's so important, and we don't see enough of that. And maybe talk about the importance of having civility in this time of really incivility.
I think we miss so much when we don't take time to connect. When we throw out all these judgmental views, and not just views, individual words that can bite. I'm definitely here to be an extension of Jesus Christ, and he would be loving, and he would lend a listening ear, and he would be compassionate and non-judgmental. And so hopefully that platform can always bring that, and there wouldn't be any negative discussions here, just a platform for people to share their beliefs. And who am I to judge their beliefs? I would love to find more common ground than differences. And there's so many. We just got done doing a huge service project in Salt Lake City with 330 people from our community. And we serve many nonprofits and other religions. And that day, when I'm looking at the pictures and the videos and the responses from those we served and from the youth that were involved, it's just so much. It's hard for my heart to contain. It is so beautiful to see that connection and to make friends, to understand people. And these youth, when they were at each location, we asked the leaders to say what they believed. Teach our youth what you believe, and teach them why you serve, why you love to serve, so that our youth can be more educated and have a better world experience. It's not too far away from our house, but it's totally different. And this will help them be better people as they move forward. And the youth's comments on this day of connection is just amazing. So if youth can do it, I sure hope adults can do it. I think that, again, differences are just the best.
You sent me this article
Yeah.
that we could include in the conversation. I thought, which of course, speaking
Mhm.
of you, campus religious groups report greater interest from students trying to find meaning in crumbling culture. College
Yeah.
students turn to religion to find meaning in their lives. Maybe talk a little bit about this article, how it spoke to you.
It did show that the stats were showing that, Gen X was, you know, in the category of nunners, right? They have no religion. And it was upwards of 40%. And now that that has kind of happened, they're starting to transition and need something in their lives and to feel and to connect. And I think that so much happens in the world because we do not have a connection to Christ. So if we can push anyone in the direction to find Christ in the way they need to find him, then I think that's amazing. If we help a Methodist reconnect with their congregation, amazing. If we help a Catholic reconnect with their congregation or even family that they've pulled away from because of religion, that's amazing. And I'm grateful to be a part of that all day long. If we can get people there, I'm on board.
That's great. Yeah, no, I think it's important, and also just the oh, hold on one second here. I want to fix something here. Um, Yeah, so it was really interesting to me because really the purpose of this channel is to get a conversation started with different faith leaders, influencers, and other people of faith within the context of the state of Utah. And of course, within the state of Utah, it's best known as being, um, a large portion of the population are members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Now, historically, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints has suffered persecution from outside groups and stuff like that, and that was one of the reasons why they came to the West. But now you have all these other groups that have moved into Utah, and the state has become much more diverse. And so you have this really interesting interactions going on, different types of conversations. Maybe speak about those kind of conversations are happening in Utah as well.
Well, I have been involved in a lot of those. And here's an example. The Krishna temple is basically in my backyard. It's, 10 minutes away from me. And I've connected with them in the past. I've brought children to serve them in the past and talked with the managers there. And Vi and Charu are great. And I had I would say, a blessed opportunity to dine with them at their home on Friday evening. And it was the best. I mean, who'd have thought that I would be sitting at their dinner table with them, discussing their beliefs, how they view God, which is Krishna to them. There was a monk from South Africa that came out and read from one of their books and did some teaching. He's in town visiting for the summer. And that was amazing to hear something so different, but yeah, so beautiful. And then they did sing a few songs, which, you just sit back and you just listen. It's not time for me to talk. It's not time for me to judge. It was just an amazing experience. I'm so grateful that those opportunities are there. You just have to look for them. You have to reach out, connect. And if we all took the time to do that, we would absolutely change the world. There's so much good in it. I can't say enough good things.
It wasn't until this whole Utah Interfaith Forum group was given to me by this faithful Latter-day Saint that I even realized what I was doing was interfaith. And I also like to
Yeah,
call it interfaithing or interfaith in action.
right.
And I think it's really important that both of us have actually we're not just talking about interfaith, but we're actually living in an interfaith space
Yeah,
virtually all the time. And
yeah,
and so maybe that's a fascinating world to inhabit as well, because a lot of people, interfaith is not easy. It's
no.
it's uh it's not about because there's delicacies. You have people that have different beliefs and everything like that. And because it's matters of faith, there's historically in the past there's been wars fought over religious beliefs and stuff like that. So it's really important that even, even if you're an atheist and you're like, well, why would I, want to have anything to do with interfaith? And my whole argument is, if you're an atheist, you should be in favor of interfaith conversations, because it's certainly much better that we engage with each other, these different religions, civilly, rather than in the past, in which we were actually fighting wars over religion. So to me, I don't see how anybody could be against interfaith, especially even a secular atheist.
I think it is so important. And I think a lot of people also don't understand the power and the value of interfaith work. Because let's say you did grow up in Utah. So, 40 years ago, let's say Utah, that was really predominantly Latter-day Saints. And so for anyone living here to take the opportunity to dive into another religion would be hard because there wasn't as many. So I understand that it's hard for them to jump in because they don't know how to do it. It hasn't been part of their life. Versus me, a Latter-day Saint growing up in Arizona, so much variety. It's just natural for me. I can step into any religion, worship service, and meet people and love it. Love the people that have presented their sermon or their thoughts, their music for the day. You can always find something to connect on. And I think it's the same if maybe you grew up in what's called the Bible Belt. If you're in that area, I think it would be hard to do interfaithing into the Latter-day Saint area, right? I think we know a few people that have done that, and they're doing amazing things, but it's rare. And I'm thinking it's hard on both sides to take that leap of faith to say, I'm just going to step in there and meet somebody and learn about them and love them. I think that we just need to unlearn something.
Yeah, I think that's true. Now, you had sent me another article, stereotypes, Latter-day Saint stereotypes in the media will soon return. So this is the idea that, of course, one of the things a lot of, especially secular media, Hollywood media, is that they usually botch showing religious communities. They don't have many of them don't have religious friends. We watch a lot of these, my mom and I would watch a lot of TV shows or Hollywood productions talking about portrayals of religious people. My mom was watching a series on Oprah's network about a black church, and my mom says it's really good, but she said, I really wish they would have consulted Christians when the making of this show. She says there's a lot of stuff here that no Christian would say or do. And so I might maybe speak to some of the stereotypes, maybe about religious stereotyping, and also vis-a-vis the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Oh, I think there's stereotyping in people believing in the Trinity or in polygamy, or I mean, the list can just go on and on if you want to dive into differences. And then it's whatever it is, it's taken to another level and misrepresented. And like I said, that's why we want people here representing their own religion, saying it in their own words. So I can't mess it up. I can't misrepresent anybody. And I think people just want truth. They don't want me coming on here making up things or taking some truth and twisting it and misguiding people. I think it's so much more meaningful to have a rabbi here and tell me about what you believe instead of what I think you believe.
Right. Yeah.
Or an evangelical pastor. Tell me what you believe. Even just people of another faith that maybe aren't in a leadership position. Tell me what you believe, how you follow this. And again, we find each time something to connect on, and which is the same as when I go worship services with other beliefs. It's the same thing. I always leave finding a connection, because if you're going to judge, if you're going to find differences, if you're going to poke at people, you've missed the whole point of all of it.
I agree. And I will also say too that in Christian media in particular, evangelical media, they do misrepresent atheists sometimes too. And I will say that they do, because I was an atheist for like 13 years, and I also
Yeah.
misrepresent Mormons. So I think it's really important that we recognize that these biases can also be done as well from religious communities towards outside groups as well. So I think we could all learn to try to not stereotype whether you're religious or not, that we need to be more authentic and try to get to know people where they're at. Now, this is so fascinating. One of the things that evolved from our conversations was at the very end of each episode, you ask some questions of our guests. Maybe preview what kind of questions you'd like to finish up the conversation with.
I love to ask, what's your favorite thing about your religion? So people can learn those little tasty parts, right? That are people's favorites that keeps them there. And then the other question is, what's your favorite thing about another religion? So that we can maybe start to understand that, you know what, we can all find good things about each other, about other beliefs, and get us thinking about it. Maybe change our thought process instead of the nitpicking. Let's find all the good things that we love.
That's great. I love it. Yeah. So that's a little bit of holy envy, if you will, that's talked about, finding
Yeah,
some another religion that you admire. And I think that's
right.
great. I think it's really
Yeah.
good. There are certain religions I see practices I do, and I say, that's admirable. And I don't like to be so condemning of people if they're not of my faith tradition. So just real quick, folks, once a reminder, make sure you are subscribed to the Utah Interfaith Forum channel. This is being simulcast on both Mormon Book Reviews and our new upstart channel, the Utah Interfaith Forum. And check that out. Make sure you're subscribed and have all your notifications turned on. So when a new episode drops, we will you'll be informed. Now we're going to probably start off maybe doing an episode maybe once a month or so on our channel. We may eventually do 2 a month. We'll just see how this goes. We do have quite a few interviews already taped, ready to go. So we're really excited about this launch. Stay tuned. I'll be sending out some more information about exactly when we'll be releasing our very first interview after we do this. And so make sure you are subscribed, because I'll probably film some shorts about it, advertising it, and also make sure you're friends with me on Facebook to stay up to speed. And also make sure that you join the Utah Interfaith Forum channel Facebook group as well, which is really a great place for great conversations happening. Sometimes there's controversy, but that's going to happen. But overall, the conversation is very civil in that group.
Yeah. It's
So
been good.
Monica, you are an awesome human being, and I want to thank you so much, because really, honestly, I've been I've been kind of struggling with this channel a little bit, and then I've had my personal struggles, and you've just been a great trooper. You've been a wonderful person. You grabbed the bull by the horns when I first talked to you about doing this channel, and I want to just commend you for the great work and the great guests, folks. These are wonderful human beings that we interviewed, and I really hope that it helps engage to a more civil conversation. So, Monica, I want to thank you so much for all the work you've put into this. It's really greatly appreciated by me, and hopefully the audience will recognize the importance of the role you've played in this channel as well.
Oh, that's sweet. I'm so happy to be with you.
Yeah, it's great. And so we got to spend some time with each other. You were down here in Florida recently, got to meet your
Yeah.
wonderful husband and some of your friends, and of course got to meet you for the first time when you gave me the tour of the Orem Temple. You're also the same person who gave Pastor Jeff McCullough a tour, as well as David Boyce of 52 Churches. And so
Oh.
we want to thank you so much for just being a great host to us. And heck, David Boyce ended up becoming a Latter-day Saint as well.
I will not take credit for that, but it's just been amazing to watch and talk to him about that, and watch his journey. And I just hope that everyone is on their journey to find what's right for them, not
Yeah,
just him, um, so that people can just get to a better place of peace if they're looking for it, support if they need it,
great.
a good path.
That's great.
And and like you talked about, the atheist side is misrepresented, and I would say atheism is a religion, wouldn't you?
It's hard to, yeah, it's, you can argue one way or another on that,
Okay,
but
so this is why I say that. I just was talking to someone who had been an atheist, and now she has found her way. She says, when I look back on it, I was actually on a faith journey. If you would have told me that when I was an atheist, I would have denied it and just shut everything down. But really, what she's saying was, I wasn't ready to just believe something. I needed to connect and know something. So to me, I'm like, you know what? Welcome to the family. Everyone, come, join, listen. And if it helps you in some way, wherever you are, then you know what? We're happy for that.
Yeah, I would say atheism certainly is part of a faith journey. I would agree with you with that entirely because
Okay.
it's engaging faith in that way. And somebody's making, yeah. So, and in that sense, I wouldn't necessarily say atheism is a religion, but it's definitely part
Religion.
of a faith journey that one can
Yes.
certainly acknowledge that as well. Many people who are religious end up becoming atheists. We have to acknowledge
Yes.
those people where they're at as well. So I'm a little hoarse today. Thanks for everybody. Really appreciate you coming on today, Monica. There's going to be links in the description for those of you who are watching this in Mormon Book Reviews as well as the Utah Interfaith Forum. If you want to financially support Mormon Book Reviews and the effort we're doing, it's greatly appreciated. There's links in the description. We also have a merchandise store where you can buy items as well. And thanks again, everybody. Now, this is Mormon Book Reviews. All the voices of the restoration will be heard here on Mormon Book Reviews, but also this is Interfaith in action here at the Utah Interfaith Forum. Thanks again, Monica.
Have a great day.
Everybody have a great day. Laters.